Today, we're checking out the glorious Modelo 2 Pro Edition, more specifically the 4K and 8K polling rate edition, which looks the same as the standard model. And this mouse is going to be perfect for the professional gamer looking for that slight advantage in latency. Inside the box, obviously you're going to get the mouse itself, as well as the 4K wireless dongle, which won't be included in the non-4K/8K edition of this mouse, as you just get the standard 2.5 GHz receiver for that one. Then you get the standard USB to Type-C braided extended cable, and some documents along with the sticker. Now the design is something that doesn't stand out as much as their other mice, as this design is more in favor of the clean aesthetic, instead of the RGB infused hole design that we've come accustomed to on many of Glorious's mice, including the Modelo 2 and the i2. It's also a grippy and lightweight design, only coming in at 59 grams compared to the Modelo 2 Wireless's weight of 68 grams. But keep in mind the non-4K/8K edition of this mouse comes in at 57 grams. Although one interesting thing to point out is that its design, shape and feel are a lot closer to the original Modelo. Even the scroll wheel is the same as the original Modelo. I have to say though, I prefer the older design rather than the new one on the Modelo 2, as this more elegant and non-hole shaped mouse is a welcomed addition, and it's impressive how they got the weight down to only 59 grams in this mouse, without putting any holes. It'll come at no surprise as well that it feels more sturdy and well built as a result. But you know, it's not like Glorious's other mice were terrible in this department, as even with the holes, they didn't feel awfully bad. Button placement is also identical to the other O-shaped mice, with one DPI switch on the top, with a scroll wheel click, the two main clickers, and two extra side buttons. The glorious Modelo 2 Pro also comes with the BAMF 2.0 sensor, going all the way up to 26,000 DPI, which is basically the same as the one in the Modelo 2, with a total of 650 IPS max speed and 50 Gs of acceleration. But of course the 4K and 8K editions obviously allow you to go from a max of 4000 Hz in wireless mode, using that little dongle we talked about earlier, or plugging the cable straight into the mouse allows you to go up to 8000 Hz. And honestly, in my usage of this mouse, I haven't been able to tell the difference from using it with 8000 Hz. But I guess it's a welcomed addition, and would probably help you slightly when playing some esports titles like CS2 or Valorant. But I seriously doubt if it's going to be much of a difference, for only a decrease of less than a millisecond. Glorious also advertised a 0.2 millisecond response time on the optical switches, which are a departure from the standard mechanical ones you get in the standard O2. They're also rated for 100 million clicks. Now Glorious's feet and glide also never disappoint, and the Modelo 2 Pro's feet and glide are no exception. The G-skates that come pre-installed are made of high quality 100% PTFE and slide exceptionally well, as you can see here. Do look to invest in some G-floats though if you care about the longevity of the feet, as over time these can wear out pretty quickly, which is why I opted for them on my original Modelo. Now the glorious Modelo 2 Pro software is your standard affair of software in Glorious Core, being able to set 3 profiles, set key bindings and macros, but the performance tab is where it gets interesting, as you can set 4 DPI stages to your liking, and you can set lift off distance. But you can also control the exact timings for your mouse for the debounce time. Or if you find that a little too complicated, you can uncheck this little advanced debounce check and control the debounce normally. There's also motion sync, which synchronizes the USB polling to the sensor activity. And lastly, you can set your separate wired and wireless polling rates, with wired of course being able to go all the way up to 8000 and wireless maxing out at 4000. Now Glorious advertises the Modelo 2 Pro to last 80 hours all in the 1000 Hz mode while wireless, and 35 hours while in the 4000 Hz mode. And obviously that is going to be a lot lower than the Glorious Modelo 2 wireless, even though that one has RGB. And that is simply down to the performance of this mouse. You're better off with the Glorious Modelo 2 if you want to be using it for long hours of play, as it has Bluetooth mode, which elevates the battery life even more. Overall, there really isn't much to complain about here, other than the battery life, but that's expected. The sensor is an absolute performer, the optical switches are great, and the response time is out of this world. Although, keep in mind it's not anything the average user is going to notice a difference with. This mouse is clearly marketed at pros, I guess you could say, although the lack of RGB is a drawback, but it doesn't really bother me in my opinion. And if it is for the benefit of a less heavy gaming mouse, then well, I'm all in. The pricing isn't bad either, coming in around $30 cheaper compared to the G Pro X Superlight 2, which only has 2000Hz polling rate. And it also costs around the same as the much heavier Razer Viper V3 Hyperspeed. Overall, the Glorious Modelo 2 is a fantastic gaming mouse that offers improved performance and features, especially in its maximum polling rate of 8000Hz. You can tell just by looking at it that it's a mouse meant for people squeezing every last edge in latency and performance out of their mouse. But it's not a mouse that's suddenly going to make you amazing in every game you play, so don't expect it to be good for that. But for the price, I would say it's a welcomed upgrade. Anyways guys, that's all for today. Make sure to like, subscribe and hit that notification bell. Also make sure to check out this video on the screen right now.